This world was not built with random bricks of chance. A blind God is not destiny's architect. A conscious power has drawn the plan of life. There is meaning in each curve and line.
Very important, huh? Because even though this world, this earth, is filled with negativity, darkness, hatred, violence, it was not built with random bricks of chance. There's no lacking of any definite plan or any prearranged order. It's not a haphazard creation. We see it as that because we live in the duality, and we
Yes.
see that
Uh,
that uh, that everything seems to be chance or it seems to be fate, but it's not so. And only when we can get into the higher realms of consciousness can we see what it really is. It is, in a way, predestined, or you could say even prearranged. But that prearrangement gives freedom to each soul to find its own path and to progress in the evolution in its own time and space. So the world is not built with random bricks of chance, and certainly the architect of the world, the destiny of the world, is not a blind God, because a conscious power has drawn the plan of life. There is a meaning in each curve and line. So beautiful, isn't it?
um,
That
eh,
Narad can say these things, that he can say such things to the queen
um,
that
yes.
yeah, go ahead.
It is an architecture high and grand, by many named and nameless masons built, in which unseeing hands obey the unseen, and of its master builders she is one.
So this whole creation, because the divine wanted to realize different aspects of himself. I think we're at 9 million population now, or 7 or 9 million. In each of those beings, there is a soul over them. I'm not talking about psychic being yet. And that is something that the divine wants to experience in this game that he's playing with his prakriti, with his creatrix, supreme creatrix. So the world is an architecture. It's a very high and very grand architecture. And it has been built by many named and nameless masons. These would be, for me, the vibhutis.
Mhm.
Maybe the gods also helping, maybe extraterrestrials also. Have you seen the video of Sradalu and Mark Auburn?
No, I have not.
You must see it. It's on YouTube. It
Okay.
is the
Is
it
it
is the one of the finest things I've seen in many, many, many years. It's
is it
brilliant.
recent?
Yeah, it happened in January of last year. It's
So
just
is
a
it on
year,
integral study?
probably, but I know it's on YouTube also.
What's his name? Shradhalu and Marco?
Marc
Yes.
Auburn, and it's I
A
think Shadalu and Mark Auburn.
burn. Okay. Of course.
You will thank me.
Yes, I will watch it. I will make a I will make it a point to watch it this week or next weekend.
Yeah, it's pretty long, but it's
Okay.
worth every minute. And Shadaloo brings out an aspect or many aspects of himself that we are not aware of.
Really.
Yeah,
Such as
we'll see.
okay.
Okay,
I
we
will
carry on now. So it is an architecture, the earth, this creation of the earth, which is high and grand, built by many named and nameless masons. So it can be built also just by great souls who may not be vibhutis, in which unseeing hands obey the unseeing. Now, the unseen is very interesting because Sri Aurobindo quotes something in the Life Divine from the Mandukya Upanishad. The unseen, with whom there can be no pragmatic relations, unseizable, featureless, unthinkable, undesignable by name, whose substance is the certitude of one self, in whom world existence is still, who is all peace and bliss. That is the self. That is what must be known. Beautiful. So now he's referring again to Savitri and of its master builders. Notice how he hyphenates the word master builders because he wants us to understand it's not two words. He has made one word from this master build, not master builders, but master builders. She is one. He's only saying that not she is the one, she is one.
hmm.
And now he's going to address the queen very strongly, but beautifully.
Queen, strive no more to change the secret will. Time's accidents are steps in its vast scheme.
And we see this all through Savitri, how our errors are his steps on the way. And they seem to be times accidents, but they're not. They're steps in this vast scheme. And he cautions her, don't strive to change the secret will. Don't even try. And then he's going to tell her even more. Bring not.
Bring not thy brief and helpless human tears across the fathomless moments of a heart that knows single will and God as one. It can embrace its hostile destiny. It sits apart with grief and facing death, affronting adverse fate armed and alone.
Well, this is all about Savitri, of course. He tells the queen, don't bring in your brief and helpless human tears. You can't do anything. So don't even try to bring them across the fathomless moments of a heart that knows its single will and God's as one. It, that is Savitri's consciousness, can embrace its hostile destiny. Well, what seems to be a hostile destiny to us at this point is pretty clear. It's Sachivan's death. And it's also the confrontation with death. That's our hostile destiny. In book one, also, we see that she has to face these different gods and beings on a certain plane of existence. And when there's even a chance of the earth being demolished into pralaya, she has to stand and for saving the earth. So Savitri sits apart with grief, and she is facing death. She's affronting. That means facing in defiance adverse fate. Armed, she's armed because she's the daughter of the sun, and she's alone. Carry on.
In the enormous world standing apart, in the mightiness of her silent spirit's will, in the passion of her soul of sacrifice, her lonely strength facing the universe, affronting fate, asks not man's help nor God. Sometimes one life is charged with earth's destiny. It cries not for
So,
succor from succor from the time-bound power.
a lot to say here. Huh? First of all, she stands apart in this enormous world. We know that Savitri has been taken from the Mahabharata, that it was a legend in the Mahabharata, but Sri Aurobindo says it's a legend and a symbol. And that's very important for us to understand Savitri. It's not simply a legend. It's filled with symbolism throughout. Every canto, every book is symbolical. So, in the mightiness of her silent spirit's will, and in the passion of her soul of sacrifice, with her lonely strength facing the universe, affronting fate, she doesn't ask man's help nor God's. And then he puts a colon because he doesn't want to use a full stop there. So he says, sometimes one life is charged with Earth's destiny. This is absolutely incredible. Mother is in charge of the destiny of Earth. And if we don't understand that, we'll always have trouble with these darker forces who seem to be engulfing the Earth right now. And the only thing we can do in those situations is find a collective harmony and power that will be greater than the cabal or the deep state. That will have the power. But Savitri doesn't even cry for succor, that's relief or help or assistance, especially in a time of difficulty. She cries not for succor from the time-bound powers. We'll go a little more.
Alone she is equal to her mighty task. Intervene not in a strife too great for thee, a struggle too deep for mortal thought to sound. Its question to this nature's rigid bounds, when the soul fronts nude of garbs the infinite, its too vast theme of a lonely mortal will facing the silence of eternity.
So we're going to stop there today. I'll talk about it because the next line, as a star uncompanioned, is the last lines that Sri Aurobindo dictated to Narad. It's Sri Aurobindo's final lines of Savitri.
Hmm.
So now we go here
So
and we
he
see.
didn't write it from the beginning to the end? Did he write it in parts and then put it together? What do you mean it was his last line?
Well, you see, he didn't have his vision any longer, and
Uh-huh.
he couldn't see to write. So he asked Narad to, as a scribe, to take down the lines that were coming through him. Narod says one time it was 600 lines at one time.
Wow.
Yeah, so these were the last lines that Sri Aurobindo dictated to Narod Baran. And it's all about Mother Savitri. So we're getting close to time, so let's go through it. Alone, yes, she's alone, and she is equal to her mighty task. So Narad tells the queen, don't intervene. In other words, don't come into a situation which is too great for thee, a strife too great for her. And strife is something very heated with violent dissension, antagonism, bitter conflict, quarrels. And then he says it's a struggle too deep for mortal thought to sound. Now, figuratively, the word sound here doesn't mean like sounding the depth of the ocean, but it means to measure or fathom or ascertain. So the mortal thought is unable, it's too, this struggle is too deep for our minds to measure. A struggle too deep for mortal thought to sound, it's question. And that's where you didn't quite get the carryover. It's to sound its question to this nature's rigid bounds. When the soul fronts nude of garbs, the infinite. So, nude of garbs, of course, is outward appearance of form. It's too vast theme of a lonely mortal will. She's still mortal. She's come to earth. She is the daughter of the sun. She's come to save, but she's mortal. And she's very lonely. As a young girl, maybe she's in her late teens. That's what I'm thinking, mid to late teen. And and she's alone with a blind man, Satyavan's father, and his wife, and Satyavan, in this gigantic forest, this hermitage. So she is a lonely mortal will. But she's pacing the silence of eternity. How beautiful. What an ending. So you have to read from the beginning, okay?
This world was not built with random bricks of charm. A blind God is not destiny's architect. A conscious power has drawn the plan of life. There is a meaning in each curve and line. It is an architecture high and grand, by many named and nameless masons built, in which unseeing hands obey the unseen, and of its master builders she is one. Queen, strive no more to change the secret will. Time's accidents are steps in its vast scheme. Bring not thy brief and helpless human tears across the fathomless moments of a heart that knows its single will and God as one. It can embrace its hostile destiny. It sits apart with grief and facing death, affronting adverse fate armed and alone. In this enormous world, standing apart, in the mightiness of her silent spirit's will, In the passion of her soul of sacrifice, her lonely strength, facing the universe, affronting fate, asks not man's help nor God. Sometimes one life is charged with earth's destiny. It cries not for succor from the time-bound powers. Alone she is equal to her mighty task. Intervene not in a strife too great for thee, a struggle too deep for mortal thought to sound. Its question to this nature's rigid bounds, when the soul fronts, uh, no, I would
When
like
the
to read
soul
it back.
fronts nude of gods.
Yes, a struggle too deep for mortal thought to sound. Its question to this nature's rigid bounds, when the soul fronts nude of God the infinite. Its too vast theme of a lonely mortal will facing the silence of eternity.
Very well read. Very well read. We could go over those lines again and again, revealing different things and different aspects. And I hope to do this with Sadalu. He has agreed to do it. It'll probably be the last thing he does in recordings because he now wants to go more and more into retreats to help those who are open to rise up to a higher level of consciousness, to break
So is
through.
so is the series coming to an end now?
No, evenings with Shraddhalu, that he said it's the only one I've kept because of Narad. I started it with him. The first
Yes.
48 or 60 or so were the two of us. And he said that will continue. So the
Yes.
evenings will continue. If I can do Savitri with him, it would be something for the world.
Yes.
So read this discussion of Auburn and Sradalu and let me know next week.
I will.
Namaste.
Yes. Namaste. Thank you.